So in today's class we will understand the term quantifier. What is quantifier? We will understand. So let's start. Quantifier express the quantity of a noun and can be used with both countable and uncountable noun. So this is the definition of quantifier. Quantifier express the quantity of a noun. It expresses the quantity of a noun and it can be used with both countable and uncountable noun. So quantifier used with both countable and uncountable noun and it express the quantity of a noun. The quantifier tell how many or how much of the noun. So quantifier tell us that how many and how much of the noun is there. It basically tell us the quantity of noun. Selecting the correct quantifier depends on correctly distinguishing between countable and uncountable noun. So to select correct quantifier, to tell correctly how much of quantity are there about particular noun, we need to correctly distinguish between whether the noun is countable or uncountable. So this is the basic understanding of quantifier. I hope you have understood till now what is quantifier and it expresses the quantity of a noun. Quantifier includes the words and this word used with noun to express its quantity, and these words are some, any, enough, all, no, both, none, half, double, several, few, much, many, more, most, little, less, least, etc. So these are the words that are quantifier and used to express the quantity about noun, the quantity of a noun. So from now onwards, whenever you will see these words, you will easily recognize this word as a quantifier and it is used to express the quantity of a noun. I hope you will easily remember it. Now let's understand with an examples. Number 1. Many of the eggs he had bought were stale. Number 2. Each competition had the same rules for participants. So here in example 1, noun is eggs and it is denoting the quantity of a noun. So in example 1, many is quantifier and it expressing the quantity of a noun eggs. That means there were many eggs he had bought were stale. So noun eggs are in many quantities. So here many is quantifier. Similarly in example 2, each is quantifier and it expressing the quantity of a competition. How many competition? Each competition. So here competition is noun and each is quantifier. So each competition had the same rules for participants. Now let's understand the uses of quantifier. So quantifier used with both countable and uncountable noun. We have learned in the definition of quantifier that quantifier used with both countable and uncountable noun, and there are quantifier that are used with countable noun and there are some quantifier that are used with uncountable noun. So let's understand the quantifier that are used with countable and uncountable nouns. So let's see the difference. Quantifier with countable nouns. So many eggs, a few eggs, few eggs, several eggs, a couple of eggs, none of the eggs, All these are example of quantifier with countable noun. So here egg is a countable noun, and many, few, a few, several, a couple of, none are quantifiers. Next, quantifier with uncountable nouns. Example, not much milk, a little milk, a bit of milk, no milk. All these are example of quantifiers with uncountable noun. Now let's understand quantifier with both countable and uncountable nouns. Some eggs, some milk. So here some quantifiers are used with both countable and uncountable noun. Okay, so some eggs countable noun, some milks uncountable noun. Enough eggs countable noun, enough milk uncountable noun. A lot of eggs countable noun, a lot of milks uncountable noun. Plenty of eggs countable noun, plenty of milk uncountable noun. A lake of eggs countable noun, and a lake of milk uncountable noun, and so on. So all these are quantifier with both countable and uncountable noun. I hope you have understood the uses of quantifier with both countable and uncountable noun. Now let's understand the uses of most and most of the. We often have used most and most of the. So let's understand the uses. So the quantifier most must include the definite article the with of when it modifies a specific noun. So when a specific noun is being referred or modified, the quantifier most should be used with the with of to describe a specific noun, whether that noun is countable or uncountable. So whether the noun is countable or uncountable, we will use most with definite article the with of. Examples: most of the teachers at this university are from England. So here teacher is a specific noun and we are using most of the before teacher. So we are quantifying the noun teacher here. Example 2. Most of the snow has melted. So here snow is a specific noun and we are using most of the before snow. I hope you have understood the uses of quantifier most of the. So most of the use with specific noun, whether countable or uncountable, and only most is used with a general plural noun and of the is omitted. So with a general plural noun, only most is used and of the is omitted. Examples: most colleges have their own rules and regulation. So here most is used before colleges and colleges is a general plural noun. So we are using most before colleges. Similarly, in example 2, most students in this college come from migrants families. So here student is a general plural noun, so we are using most before students. So I hope it's been clear to you the uses of most and most of the. So we use most of the before specific noun and most before general plural noun and omit of. Now we will understand the uses of little, a little, the little, and few, a few, the few, and we will learn the differences among all of them. So now let's understand the uses of little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few. So we know that all of these denote the same meaning when we want to describe anything which has less quantity or which are in small quantity, then we will use little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few. And both little and few means small quantity. So we often feel confused when to use little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few. So it is a quite confusing thing, and there is a slight differences between little, a little, the little, few, a few, and the few. So now we will understand the differences between this little and few, when we should use little, when we should use few, because both describe the same thing, that is shows a small quantity of anything, small amount of anything. So we understand when we will use little, when we will use a little, when we will use the little. Same goes with few, a few, and the few. So let's understand and make it clear. There is an important difference between little, a little, and the little. So there is an important difference, because we can make very silly mistake in using little, a little, and the little, and it is very confusing, because all the same thing. Little means little, that is that there is something which has a very small quantity or amount, so we will feel confused. So we should know the rule where to use a little, the little, and where we should use only little. So first of all, let's understand that we use little, a little, and the little with uncountable noun. So if there is anything which are uncountable, then we will use little, a little, and the little. Okay, uncountable nouns means like rice. We can't count rice. Similarly, sugar. All these are uncountable noun. Then we will use little, a little, and the little with uncountable noun. For example, we can say that there is a little rice left in the vessel. There is a little milk left in the glass. Okay, so these are the examples. Now let's understand. A little shows a small quantity or amount of something in a positive sense. That means if there is something which are in a very small quantity or amount, but in a positive sense means there is something left, then we will use a little. Let us take an example that there is a little water left in the glass. So this means that the glass is not empty, there is a little amount of water left. So we will use a little. Okay, and it denote it in a positive sense, because there is a little amount of water left in the glass. So a little use when it is in a positive sense and a small amount of quantity of something left. Okay, now little emphasizes in a negative sense. Little means बिल्कुल ना के बराबर. There is only a very small quantity or amount of something. So let me give you an example that there is a little water left in the pot. Okay, that means there is very little or less amount of water left in the pot. And the little refers to all of the small quantity that was there, and we use the little when all of the small quantity that was there. Okay, so the little use when there is small quantity of something left. Let me give you an example. There is the little milk left in the utensils so that you can make tea for you. So there is a little amount of milk left so that 1 cup of tea can make. In that case, we will use the little. Now understand the uses of few, a few and the few. Few, a few and the few used with countable noun. So we have understood the difference between little and few, when to use little and when to use few. First of all, when there is a noun which is uncountable, then we will use little, and according to quantity we will use little, a little and the little. Now few used with countable noun, the noun that we can count, example table, chair, etc. So we will use few, a few and the few when we will refers to countable noun. And same it goes with few, a few and the few. If there is a very small quantity, then we will use few. If there is a small quantity but in positive sense, then we will use a few. And when there is something in a quantity that we can use, then we will use the few. Okay, now understand with examples. He is visiting France, but he knows little French. Means he is visiting France, but he knows French? No. He knows a bilkul little a bit French. Means na ke barabar. Then we are using little here. She is not educated, but does understand the political gimmicks a little. She is not educated, but she understands. That means she understands a little a bit. So we are using a little. Some pigeon picked on the little rice that was left over in the earthen pot. That means there is some quantity of rice was left over in the earthen pot. So we are using the little here. I hope you have understood the differences between little and few, when to use little, when to use few, and the differences between little, a little, the little, few, a few and the few. There is a slight differences between all this. So just understand that little, a little, the little use with uncountable. So whenever you found any uncountable noun, then use little, and whenever there is countable noun, use few, and depend on the quantity and its sense, use little, a little, the little, few, a few and the few. This is a major difference, major important difference. So just remember it and do practice. I hope the concept of quantifier has been clear to you all. Thank you.